Alright, it is 9:49 and I just got out of a trade with LKNCY accidentally. I wasn't trying to sell everything that I had, but I was trying to sell half, and this one is really interesting. I was just casually looking through the charts, and when I saw LKNCY, I said, "Wow, this one looks really nice for like a break out past this $20 level." Even looking at a longer term chart. At first, I thought, this might be a little bit too much of a newbie setup. Like, oh, it's just gonna break and hit the round number of $20, and people are gonna freak out, and it's just gonna shoot up to the moon, and it's gonna be like a super nice breakout. But then I thought a little, and I remembered that this is a very popular OTC to trade, especially short selling. There are a lot of people who like to short this stock, and this stock is readily available to short on Schwab, which isn't really in a broker people choose to short. It's not an aggressive brokerage for shorting, especially OTC. So the fact that Schwab has shares to sell, and the fact that this is a very popular OTC, I just thought, maybe Ashley can break above $20, saying it can squeeze a lot of shorts. So I did buy just 5 shares. I actually was planning to buy 10, but then I just thought, this thing can jump around and trade with a bit of a spread, and if that goes against me, that's not going to be nice. At 9:46, I just bought 5 shares, and I'll make sure and calculate to see if I was even following a $100 risk level. I thought worst case scenario, this thing could just absolutely fail, sell off hard, like maybe one of these candles, and we get to $19. But again, this thing is kind of quick the way it trades, so I thought maybe I should trade half of that size of 10 shares. So 9:46 was right here. The one before the breakout, I was in at 1997 and a half. And I didn't mean to sell everything the next minute, but we did break out and get above the $20 level, and I sold all of it at 2007. So right here and a half. So I guess very close to the day high, and ideally I would still have half of my position. Maybe this would have freaked me out, but I was thinking about cutting the trade if it was going to get below 1994, because that looks like a mini support level, and it would have held it, but that would have freaked me out probably. I probably would have still held on to it, but maybe not. And I would still be holding on to the other half, which is nice because the high is 2009, and we're right there with some actual support, at least for now, at the bid, close to this breakout level, or at least this, follow-up breakout level. So yeah, we got the tens briefly. This thing can continue to squeeze shorts and, make them cry and be something really nice for the breakout buyers to sell into. Wow. Yeah, I wish I held on to the other half. I just didn't. I don't know. I guess I've just been jaded. Like those past 3 trades I took just all, sucked. And then this one worked out. So I guess I probably was a bit too quick to sell. That's super nice. At least I was on the right track. But yeah, ideally I can trade something like this better in the future. As for what I would do if I was still in the setup, if I wanted to be super casual, maybe a trend line like this, and I would cut it if it breaks below this trend line, or I can do something if I want to get out quickly, have a trend line off of these 2 candles, and then once that breaks, or it looks like it's going to turn around and break it, I would cut the rest of the position. So yeah, I'll make an update later. This is a nice multi-day breakout. Pretty impressive. It's definitely a short squeeze. All right, it is 10:25 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm gonna be up on the day. Actually, not $5, just 50 pennies, and that was one trade with LKNCY. And I found out a bit after I placed the order and got out of it and everything that I was severely undersized. This was just a $20 stock, and I'm just not used to trading stocks that expensive. It's very hard for OTCs to be that expensive, and yeah, I should have actually have had. I mean, realistically, I should have had 100 shares, right? Because that would have been a $100 risk level. I just wasn't thinking in my mind, despite the fact it was a more expensive stock, that a $100 risk level would still be realistic with a almost $2,000 position. It's not like I didn't have the liquidity. I had the liquidity in terms of my cash account balance to actually trade this position, and this one would have been profitable. And then I just traded this one horribly in that I just didn't have the right amount of shares, but I sold horribly. I sold everything when I was only supposed to sell half or a portion of my position. And that was just a mistake. And that was also because of the fact that I've just felt really unlucky with the previous trades that just don't work out, and I trade perfectly, and then I have one setup that starts to work and then I get out of it too quickly. So I need to flip that around and probably just pray for revival in that sense, because I just keep getting super unlucky. But at least I was on the right track, I guess. And yeah, so in theory, I was thinking $100 risk level, but because I had a bit of a spread, maybe 50 shares would have been the right amount. Instead, again, I traded 5 shares instead of 50 because I was off in terms of how much I'm supposed to buy and everything. But this thing really worked out, and if it's still possible, it looks like the trend lines, yeah, they're still here. Hindsight is 2020, but this is proof that these trend lines I had were very accurate. It failed, and I think I still have a screenshot before it got kind of, yeah, this is still easier to read. You can see how the more aggressive trend line, it broke way up in its highs right here, around this 2075 level, which would be around here. And that would have been a great sell for everything. And even the longer term trend line, the one that was a bit less aggressive, this one played out and it did eventually break it right here. And I would have sold maybe a little less than this one, but again, I would have given it more time for it to uptrend. And yeah, it did continue the uptrend even more. I got as high as this 2150 level. So super profitable. Maybe if I were to have sold half, or I did at 2007, and then the other half once it broke the trend line at 2068. Let's just do some simple math. And this is assuming I sold half of my position. My first position sold. So the average would have been 20, 37 and a half. Let's see what that would have been. Yeah, 20 bucks. And that's trading 50 shares on even the full amount, which would have been $100 risk level. And yeah, I totally could have done something like that, but I threw it with just 5 shares. So yeah, I just hope I stop making these stupid mistakes and getting unlucky, and do everything right on the setups that don't work out, and then hesitate on the setups that do work out, or trade them horribly. I hope I can break out of it. At least I didn't lose money, I guess. But yeah, $5 risk level is really stupid, super undersized. And then after I realized that I didn't have the right amount of shares, I didn't want to trade anything else because I didn't want to, maybe be stubborn or try to gain back what I felt like I deserved, or do any stupid over trading or something dumb like that. So, of course, some positions did open up, um, especially with this one, CGRA, and I just wasn't in the right mindset to trade it. But I was looking at this for a high day breakout because it had this very obvious ceiling here, and it, was holding above VWAP. So, this one did break out. It went from the 59s to the 64s, and then it did a intraday breakout, which I'm never really good at in terms of these setups that break out in the afternoon uptrend over a longer period of time. I need to keep getting better so I can be able to hold on to longer term positions like this one. And this one also didn't do a very significant dip either, so it would have been something that I could have based off of a trend line that would have held on for a really long period of time. So I guess a buy maybe at 69, and then it breaks it here at 73, and that's not bad for an afternoon. Pretty profitable in that sense. And this one uptrended. I never really saw this one today, and this one, despite it being up like 2,000%, this one managed to uptrend even more and do more follow-up breakouts. Again, this is something that I know personally I'm not really good at, but I want to be good at in the future, and be able to trade these and have that patience to hold on for a super long period of time. I could probably start small and trade a $5 position with these, but yeah, not the setups that I've been seeing play out successfully again and again, like the one with LKNCY or just regular morning panic bounce way. So yeah, that's it for today. really crappy, but I guess things could always be worse, and I'm so thankful that I even had the opportunity to have had a really nice green day today. That's pretty much it. I just really set the bar low. I can't. Well, actually, I'm not going to say I can't because I probably could, but ideally, the bar is set low so I don't actually bring it lower. At least, it's much harder for me to bring it lower, but I'm gonna make it, but just with a prayer, because honestly, on my own, I'm pretty much gonna always screw up, I guess, with this luck. That's all I have for today.